Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Courtney Love, a defiant voice in rock and cultural icon. Courtney Love stands as one of the most polarizing, influential, and resilient figures in modern rock history. As the frontwoman of Hole, an actress, a writer, and a relentless cultural provocateur, she has navigated fame, tragedy, and reinvention with a raw intensity few artists ever match. Her life and career, marked by both artistic triumphs and personal storms, continue to capture public fascination decades after her arrival on the music scene. Early life and fierce determination. Born Courtney Michelle Harrison on July 9, 1964, in San Francisco, Love's early life was nomadic and unconventional. Raised amid the counterculture of the 1970s, she spent parts of her youth in Oregon, New Zealand, and various communes. Her rebellious spirit emerged early, shaping her drive to break into the arts. Drawn to music, performance, and underground culture, Love's teenage years saw her exploring everything from punk scenes to acting workshops. By the late 1980s, she had already performed in several short-lived bands and appeared in films, including Sid and Nancy and Straight to Hell. Determined and unfiltered, she was carving out a place for herself long before mainstream fame arrived. Rise with Hole, a raw and relentless sound. In 1989, Love founded Hole, a band that helped define the alternative rock era of the 1990s. Their early music, loud, abrasive, and emotionally charged, reflected Love's fearless artistic voice. Breakthrough success. The band's 1994 album, Live Through This, became a landmark work. Released just 1 week after the death of her husband, Kurt Cobain, the album blended rage, vulnerability, and poetic lyricism, earning widespread critical acclaim. Songs like Doll Parts and Violet remain staples of the grunge and alternative movement. Hole followed with Celebrity Skin, 1998, a more polished album that explored fame, beauty standards, and identity. Its title track became one of the band's biggest hits, cementing Love's status as both rock star and cultural lightning rod. Acting career and artistic range. Beyond music, Courtney Love proved herself a formidable actress. Her breakthrough performance as Althea Flint in The People vs. Larry Flynt, 1996, earned her a Golden Globe nomination and praise from critics who saw a different side of her artistry. She went on to appear in films such as Man on the Moon, 1999, and Trapped, 2002, showcasing her versatility and emotional depth. Public scrutiny, resilience, and reinvention. Courtney Love's life has unfolded under an intense media spotlight. From her marriage to Kurt Cobain to her legal battles, public controversies, and struggles with addiction, she has been scrutinized more than almost any other rock musician of her generation. Yet throughout the turbulence, she has consistently returned to artistic creation, releasing music, writing essays, performing spoken word pieces, and maintaining her presence as a fiercely outspoken cultural figure. Her candor, even when controversial, has earned her a reputation for authenticity and unfiltered honesty. Legacy and influence. Love's influence on music, fashion, and feminist expression remains undeniable. Her distinct aesthetic, often described as Kinderhore, shaped a significant part of 1990s alternative culture. Musicians across generations credit her for paving the way for outspoken, boundary-pushing women in rock. Her music continues to resonate with new audiences discovering her work through streaming platforms, documentaries, and the enduring legacy of the grunge era. Conclusion. Courtney Love is not easily defined. She is a rock icon, an actress, a survivor, a poet, and a cultural disruptor. Her journey has been marked by brilliance and chaos, but above all, a relentless commitment to artistic expression. Whether praised or criticized, she remains one of the most compelling and influential women in the history of alternative music. Courtney Love's unapologetic artistic identity. From the beginning of her career, Courtney Love cultivated an image that defied the expectations placed on female musicians. At a time when the rock landscape was dominated by men, she stood on stage in torn dresses, smeared lipstick, and smeared emotions, weaponizing femininity as both armor and rebellion. Love's performances were unpredictable, wild, and cathartic. She screamed, wailed, and howled lyrics that felt ripped directly from open wounds. To many fans, she became the voice of a generation of young women who felt angry, unseen, or trapped within the contradictions of beauty, power, and vulnerability. Songwriting, rage, vulnerability, and poetic brutality. One of Love's most enduring legacies is her songwriting. Beneath the distortion and raw vocals lies a keen sense of narrative and symbolism. Her lyrics frequently explore themes such as female rage and empowerment, loss, grief, and the edge of emotional collapse, body image, fame culture, and the commodification of womanhood, toxic relationships, and the price of longing. Songs like Miss World, Northern Star, and Awful reveal a complex artist who blends literary sensibilities with punk ferocity. Love's lyrics are often framed as confessional, yet she has stated many times that her writing is deeply constructed, shaped by literature, mythology, and personal observation. The shadow of tragedy. Love and Cobain. Courtney Love's marriage to Kurt Cobain remains one of the most analyzed relationships in popular culture. To some, they were the Sid and Nancy of the 1990s, beautiful, destructive, and inseparable. To others, they represented a deeply artistic partnership between two troubled yet visionary individuals. Their daughter, Frances Bean Cobain, born in 1992, became a central point of love, controversy, and public fascination. Cobain's death in 1994 thrust Love into an unimaginable storm of grief while simultaneously placing her under a microscope. She not only endured the loss of her husband but also faced widespread speculation, conspiracy theories, and relentless media judgment. Despite the trauma and scrutiny, her ability to deliver live through this with such emotional clarity remains one of the most remarkable feats in rock history. Courtney Love as a cultural provocateur throughout the 1990s and 2000s. Love was never far from headlines. Her outspoken interviews, feuds with industry figures, and high-profile court cases solidified her image as a volatile but fascinating celebrity. Yet beneath the chaos lies a sharp intellect that many critics and peers have acknowledged. Love has been a vocal advocate for women's rights and equal treatment within the music industry, one of the earliest major artists to challenge unfair music contracts and copyright issues, a fierce critic of the exploitation of young artists, a voice discussing substance abuse, trauma, and survival without glamorization. Her unpredictability sometimes overshadowed her artistry, but it also made her one of the most compelling personalities of her era. Later career and reinvention. In the 2000s and 2010s, Courtney Love continued to evolve both musically and personally. She released her solo album, America's Sweetheart, 2004, followed by Hole's return with Nobody's Daughter, 2010. She also became known for her presence on social media, where she mixed sharp commentary, humor, and emotional honesty. Love remained a fixture in fashion as well, collaborating with designers and influencing grunge-inspired aesthetics that continue to resurface today. Her ventures into visual art, writing, and spoken word performance in recent years reveal a woman committed to self-expression in many forms. A complicated but enduring legacy. Courtney Love is not an artist who fits neatly into any category. She represents contradiction. Both controversial and critically acclaimed, both fragile and ferociously strong, both misunderstood and deeply influential, her legacy stretches far beyond the music of whole. It is embedded in the fabric of alternative culture, feminist expression, and the evolving narrative of what a woman in rock can be. Today, she continues to be referenced by countless artists, from Lana Del Rey to Paramore's Hayley Williams, who acknowledge her trailblazing role in the industry. Conclusion: the power of a relentless spirit. Courtney Love's story is one of survival, reinvention, and unfiltered creativity. She has endured unimaginable loss, navigated fame's harshest spotlights, and fought battles, both public and private, that could easily break a person. Yet she remains unapologetically herself. A poet of pain, a disruptor of norms, a rock icon whose influence continues to echo across generations. The Courtney Love aesthetic. A fashion revolution. Courtney Love's influence extends far beyond music. She is a legitimate fashion icon whose style reshaped the visual identity of the 1990s. Kinderhore-style Love is often credited with popularizing Kinderhore, a provocative blend of baby doll dresses, smudged lipstick, ripped stockings, Mary Jane shoes, disheveled glamour. The look simultaneously embraced and mocked traditional femininity. It questioned beauty standards, critiqued innocence as a commodity, and transformed messiness into a statement of power. Fashion's ongoing love affair with Love designers and stylists have repeatedly cited Courtney Love as a muse. Her influence shows up in runway collections by Marc Jacobs, Hedi Slimane, Vivienne Westwood, and Saint Laurent editorials in Vogue, Dazed, ID magazine, and Interview. The resurgence of 90s grunge aesthetics among Gen Z. Her fashion legacy is an extension of her artistic rebellion, chaotic, subversive, and unforgettable. Major controversies. A life under the spotlight. Courtney Love's career has not been without turbulence, and many aspects of her life were consumed by controversy. Some of the most discussed include legal battles. Love has been involved in multiple lawsuits over the years, including disputes over Hole's name and music rights, copyright and estate disagreements, defamation claims, and public feuds. She was one of the earliest major artists to aggressively challenge unfair industry contracts, long before discussions about artist rights became mainstream. Substance abuse and public struggles. Her struggles with addiction are well documented, and the media often sensationalized her lowest moments. Despite the scrutiny, Love entered periods of recovery and was candid about the realities of substance abuse, helping open a broader cultural conversation. Media scrutiny. Few rock musicians have endured such sustained tabloid pressure. For decades, every misstep, meltdown, or tweet became headline material, often overshadowing her achievements. Courtney Love became a cultural mirror, reflecting society's obsession with rebellious women while challenging it at the same time. Her relationship with Frances Bean Cobain. Courtney Love's bond with her daughter is one of the most emotional and complex aspects of her life. Frances Bean was born into a global spotlight she never asked for. After Cobain's death, Love struggled to balance motherhood with grief, addiction, and fame. Though they experienced periods of distance, conflict, and reconciliation, their connection gradually strengthened in adulthood. Frances has spoken openly about her empathy for her mother's battles and the love that ultimately binds them. Their relationship is a testament to survival, healing, and the effort to rebuild what fame and tragedy threatened to fracture. Artistic philosophy. Beauty and chaos. At the heart of Courtney Love's work lies a fierce artistic philosophy. She has long believed that art must be honest, even when ugly. Fame is a beast to confront, dissect, and mock. Women have the right to be loud, angry, sexual, And imperfect grief can be transformative. Art should provoke, not comfort. Her approach draws from punk rock's anti-establishment roots and classic literature alike. Love has cited influences such as Sylvia Plath, Anais Nin, T.S. Eliot, and Shakespeare, evident in her lyricism and interviews. Courtney Love in the 21st century. Reinvention and reflection. In the last 2 decades, Courtney Love has embraced reinvention while maintaining her signature candor. Music and spoken word. Love has occasionally released new music, teased new projects, and performed intimate shows. Her focus has shifted to more personal writing, poetry, and spoken word performances, where her raw storytelling shines. Cultural commentary. Her social media presence, when active, remains a mix of sharp wit, emotional honesty, political commentary, and artistic reflection. Few public figures oscillate so effortlessly between chaos and brilliance. A symbol of survival today, Love is viewed through a more nuanced lens. Younger generations who missed the 1990s firsthand often see her as a feminist icon, a misunderstood artist, a survivor of trauma and media abuse, a trailblazer for women in rock. Her resilience has redefined how many fans perceive her legacy. Modern legacy. A blueprint for unfiltered female creativity. Courtney Love's impact reaches far into the present. Artists who cite her influence include Lana Del Rey, Olivia Rodrigo, Hayley Williams, Billie Eilish, Charli XCX, Halsey. They echo her willingness to reveal vulnerability, to confront fame, and to embrace contradictions. Love helped break open the door for an entire generation of musicians who don't have to choose between beauty and rage, softness and toughness, vulnerability and ferocity. She showed that a woman could be complex, abrasive, elegant, emotional, brilliant, and broken, and still be powerful. Conclusion. A woman who refused to be defined. Courtney Love remains one of the most compelling figures in modern culture. She lived loudly, loved fiercely, and created art that cut through the noise. Her voice, raw, theatrical, poetic, and enraged, continues to echo long after the era that shaped her. She is an icon not because she was perfect, but because she never pretended to be. A survivor, a disruptor, a rock legend whose story still isn't finished.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.